The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 61. What? Nine-headed giant serpent. Lower your voice. In the small tavern down the mountain, as Liu Fengyi listened to Sanche's account, he was so shocked that he almost sprayed out the wine he had just drunk. So you're saying your brother was eaten by that nine-headed serpent? Then how can we save him? Xiao Dai is right. If he was really swallowed by that nine-headed serpent, by now he might have turned into snake feces. That nine-headed giant serpent is truly terrifying. My brother, they. At the mention of their two brothers, Sanche choked up and started crying. It was really heart-wrenching to see them so emotional. Their bond as brothers was deep, and even at this moment, they were unwilling to give up hope of saving their brother. What? Eaten? Who said they were eaten? You're the ones who were eaten. However, the slight sympathy that Liu Fengyi and the others had just felt for them was instantly shattered by Sancho's words. They haven't been eaten. Why so much fuss then? Don't worry. Let me continue to tell you. Although they weren't eaten by that creature, we encountered something even more terrifying. Let's go back and continue the story. When the Liaodong Sanche saw that the nine-headed serpent had eaten 3 of the concealed treasure-hunting travelers, they were so scared that their souls were about to flee. They realized that if they didn't run now, they might be the next ones to be eaten. The 3 of them desperately fled downhill. Perhaps the nine-headed serpent didn't want to stray too far from the swamp, so these 3 people actually managed to escape successfully. However, in their panicked state, they took the wrong direction and ended up not going down the mountain. Instead, they ran in a big circle through the forest and ended up on the other side of this large swamp. Because they were so terrified, they ran without paying attention to the ground. Soon, the eldest and second eldest, who were leading the way, stumbled and fell into a patch of mud. The 3 of them instantly realized their situation. They were dumbfounded. The reason this place is called a swamp is because it's full of mud underneath, and it's treacherous. Big brother, second brother, I'll save you. Both brothers had sunk into the mud, leaving the third brother in a difficult situation. He knew that if he went up there, he would also get stuck, but he still wanted to reach out and help his brothers. Third brother, get away. It's too dangerous. Third brother, don't come closer. The bond between these 3 brothers was indeed strong, but the sinking was happening too fast. The eldest and second eldest didn't want the third brother to get involved, so they hurriedly stopped him. Big brother, second brother, take care of second Niang. I've given you big brother's secret stash of money. Helplessly watching his 2 brothers sink into the mud while being unable to do anything, the third brother's tears started flowing uncontrollably. Big brother, second brother. The 2 brothers were quickly swallowed by the swamp, but the third brother was determined. No matter what, he had to find someone to pull the 2 brothers out. Please, I beg you, save my big brother and second brother. But these 3 brothers had poor connections and no friends to turn to. They were wondering who could help them when they unexpectedly encountered Liu Fengyi and the others as soon as they descended the mountain. This led the third brother to muster the courage to plead for help. Brother, don't blame me for interrupting. To put it this way, your 2 brothers have most likely already died, so there's no need to try to save them. No, they won't die. Before Black Fox could finish his words, he was abruptly shouted down by the third brother. The expression my second brother had just before sinking into the mud. He seemed to have discovered something beneath him, and the gesture he made was a plea for help from me. His analysis was based on the expressions and gestures of the eldest and second eldest. The 3 brothers had grown up together and had a strong sense of understanding, but this reasoning seemed a bit strained. Since there's still a glimmer of hope, why don't we give it a try? Xiao Dai's heart softened, and upon hearing this, she spoke up first. She genuinely hoped that everyone could help Liaodong Sanche. I'm begging you. Before you go, let me tell you about the nine-headed serpent. However, just as she and Liu Fengyi were about to stand up, Black Fox chimed in. That creature is in Changbai Mountain. It's an extremely terrifying existence. As someone who came from Changbai Mountain's immortal realm, he had some knowledge of the nine-headed serpent in the swamp at the foot of Changbai Mountain. So, he briefly introduced it to everyone. While practicing on Changbai Mountain, there are occasional interactions between various immortal realms. Some even have good relationships. However, the nine-headed serpent never interacts with anyone. Because of this lack of understanding, various immortal realms maintain an observing attitude toward the nine-headed serpent. Among all the animals that cultivate immortality, they fear tribulation the most. Most immortal cultivators would choose to avoid or seek external assistance to overcome tribulations, and they definitely wouldn't eat humans, fearing divine retribution. But this nine-headed serpent is the opposite. Not only does it frequently consume humans, but when facing tribulations, it doesn't avoid them. Instead, it seems to challenge them head-on, charging into the heavenly thunder. The tribulations it endures are also the most ferocious, yet this creature always manages to survive. It must be said that its physical body is incredibly robust. It's said that one time, during a particularly fierce Great Fate tribulation, a thunderbolt struck down so violently that the entire Changbai Mountain trembled. The immortal cultivators within the mountain were so frightened that they hid in their caves and dared not come out. After the heavenly thunder passed, the massive swamp was almost scorched to a crisp. The area emitted a foul smell from the mud being baked dry. Everyone thought that the nine-headed serpent was undoubtedly dead, but everyone guessed wrong. This nine-headed serpent, no one knows what kind of species it is, actually crawled out from that scorched earth after a dozen days. It's said that on that night, the entire Changbai Mountain could hear the roaring of its nine heads directed at the sky. It was extremely arrogant, and from then on, this savage beast became a kind of anomaly that nobody dared to approach. So powerful. A monster, this is just too audacious. Black Fox's account left Liu Fengyi and Qiu Dai stunned. Having nine heads was already strange enough, but they didn't expect the creature's personality to be even more rebellious. How about it? Still dare to provoke it? Seeing how surprised the two were, Black Fox asked once again whether they were sure about going. What's there to fear? It's not like it can eat us. Wait, this creature really does eat humans. Darn it, we must get rid of it. Liu Fengyi, still full of youthful vigor, felt that as a practitioner of the Mashan school, there was no reason to fear a demon, especially one that caused harm by devouring humans. Kid, don't forget we are wild immortals. To us, humans are merely a form of sustenance. But when it came to the matter of eating humans, Black Fox, as an immortal, had a different perspective. Many thanks, heroes. All right then, I'll also accompany you on this journey. Surprisingly, Black Fox was also fond of taking on tough challenges. Seeing the two persisting in their decision, and after downing another bowl of wine, he stood up as well. You rascal, just make sure you don't slow me down. Of course, Liu Fengyi was glad to have a strong hand to help. He stepped forward and grabbed Black Fox's shoulder, and the sight of three grown men walking arm in arm and heading out was indeed a bit peculiar. Do you think you can skip the bill by running fast? However, don't think that Qiu Dai couldn't see through their plan with the two of them. But knowing that the two of them didn't have a single penny in their pockets, Qiu Dai settled the bill and followed the group up the mountain. This is it. We're already at the foot of Changbai Mountain. After just half a day's journey, the four of them arrived at the pit where Liadong Sanche's eldest and second eldest had sunk. Oh, my poor big brother and second brother. Stop wailing. We're working on a solution. Be cautious. This is too close to the swamp. Try not to provoke it. Indeed, this pit was unlike a clear pool, making it impossible to observe the situation below. Moreover, it was very close to the massive swamp where the nine-headed serpent resided. To avoid trouble, it would be best not to provoke it. All right, let's begin. While the three of them were still brainstorming, the third brother had already sprung into action. Young hero, it's up to you. Hey, what's this? They saw him quickly tying a hemp rope around Liao Fengyi's waist. Now we can only send someone down to take a look. Don't worry, I'll use the rope to pull you up. It turns out he intended for Liao Fengyi to jump into the pit to investigate the situation, and the hemp rope was meant to pull him back up later. Young hero, you can go with confidence. Go. Why don't you go down instead? In reality, this wasn't a bad idea, but this third brother seemed too unconcerned about himself. What to do then? Fengyi, I've gathered information. Ever since Hu came into action, things have been much easier. Skilled in gathering information, Hu quickly gathered the local creatures and acquired information. Turns out, beneath this treacherous mud pit is a massive underground space, and there are hundreds of such hollowed-out mud pits within this swamp. These mud pits are interconnected, forming an extensive underground space, and they directly link to the large lake where the nine-headed serpent resides. In my view, this is a trap set by the nine-headed serpent for hunting and capturing prey. In this case, these rotten mud pits seem more like traps set by the nine-headed serpent to capture prey. Animals and humans often fall into them, becoming trapped. So, that's it. Young hero, do you have a plan? You're right, someone needs to go down. And the nine-headed serpent can lie in wait. Whenever it's hungry, it can go into that massive underground space to hunt. Realizing this, a smile tugged at the corner of Liao Fengyi's lips. Kid, what do you intend to do? Liao Fengyi. It's said that one must venture into the tiger's den to catch the tiger's cub. Since the other party has set up a trap, the simplest solution is to jump in and save the person. Don't worry, it's empty down here. Ugh, it smells terrible. After Liao Fengyi spoke, Xiao Dai and Black Fox also jumped into the pit. However, despite being prepared, they were still overwhelmed by the foul odor of the mud. Sinking into this muck, their descent was extremely fast, and the mud quickly rose above their heads. Heroes, you'll always live in my heart. Seeing the three individuals so courageously attempting to save his brother, the third member of the Liaodong Sanshe was deeply moved. Yet, before he could finish feeling moved, he found a whip coiling around him. Don't do this. It was a whip thrown by Xiao Dai. I'm better suited for logistical. Now that everyone was down there, who knew if this guy might pull a fast one from above? The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 62. I didn't expect that all of you were killed by the Liaodong three demons. In the small forest by the swamp, a figure was emitting an angry growl. It was the fourth member of the Bibao gang. At this moment, he still believed that his brothers were all taken care of by the Liaodong three demons, and their treasure was also taken from them. I must avenge you all. Big Brother's silver tickets. Haha, now that you're all dead, everything belongs to me. Originally, he gritted his teeth and swore to avenge his brothers, but he unintentionally found a package left behind by the Bibao gang in the bushes. Inside were many silver tickets, and then the scene changed in an instant. But just when this guy was getting carried away, a loud noise suddenly echoed from the swamp behind him. Then water splashed up, and the sudden change startled him. However, when he turned around, what he saw was a monster with 9 heads. He was immediately terrified. Oh my God, it's a monster. He trembled violently, only knowing to scream desperately. Liaodong three demons, even in death, I won't let you off. This guy really had a stroke of bad luck. If he had woken up and fled directly, he might have saved his life. But he was too greedy for wealth, and ended up losing his life to the monster. Who the hell is cursing me? Keep your voice down. Don't disturb the 9-headed serpent. Let's not talk about the bald guy waiting to become snake dung. Let's talk about Liao Fengyi and the others who jumped into the mud pit. After a few people fell into the mud pit, they actually fell into a huge underground space. Big brother and second brother aren't dead yet. Let's go find them. Seeing that his analysis was correct, Liao Dong, Three Demons' third brother, was overjoyed. This meant that his efforts weren't in vain, and his two brothers were still alive. This is the lair of the nine-headed serpent. Maybe they've already turned into snake dung. No, that's not possible. But just as a glimmer of hope ignited, it was extinguished by a bucket of cold water thrown by Liao Fenghi. That's true. Everyone can see that this underground space is a trap set by the nine-headed serpent. Those who fell down, whether people or animals, all become its food. All right, let's search slowly. Although they said this, there was still hope. The group started searching in this underground space, and upon walking around, they realized that the space was unusually large, and the cave was intricate. Led by Ahu, everyone walked towards the direction of the water area for about the time it takes an incense stick to burn, suddenly noticing light ahead. How could there be light in this underground space? Could it be an exit? But looking at the dim and soft light, it didn't seem like natural light from the outside. As everyone cautiously emerged from that cave, they were left speechless by the sight before them. Ahead was a vast space, partly natural and partly artificial, spanning over 100 square meters. The walls of the cave emitted a faint glow, seemingly made from an unknown material. The architecture here resembled a grand hall. Furthermore, right in the center of this hall stood a massive artificial door. Above the doorframe was an enormous stone carving depicting a giant python, its head lowered as it surveyed everything within the hall. So that's how it is. No wonder the nine-headed serpent wouldn't leave this place. Just as everyone was struck speechless by the immense underground structure before them, Black Fox spoke up. This should be the temple of the ancient dragon clan. Black Fox, having cultivated in the Changbai Mountains for hundreds of years, was well versed in various local legends. He quickly understood the situation. Black Fox explained that it was said in ancient times on the Kunlun Mountains in the western regions, there were divine beings with human heads and serpent bodies. Figures like the legendary Nuwa and Fuxi were part of these divine beings, ancient gods who brought change and creation to humanity. However, for some unknown reason, a two-headed snake emerged among these divine beings, causing a great disturbance among them. It was considered an ill omen, and it was subsequently banished from the Kunlun Mountains. Yet, being a divine snake, it observed the world closely and eventually settled on the Changbai Mountains, where it found enlightenment. It's said that this two-headed snake later achieved human form, becoming a male and a female with human heads and serpent bodies. The male had a robust physique, while the female was incredibly beautiful. They eventually became a couple. Some might argue that they should be siblings. How could they form a couple? But let's not take this matter too seriously. Legend also has it that Nuwa and Fuxi were siblings who later became a couple, and that led to the creation of all things in the world. Legends are legends, and they shouldn't be deeply scrutinized. According to the legend, these two snake gods performed many miracles on the Changbai Mountains, benefiting the local people. They were worshipped by countless ancient ancestors and became deities of the region. The ancestors blessed by the snake gods grew more prosperous and flourished, gradually forming a civilization centered around snake worship in the Changbai Mountain Valley. They identified themselves as the Snake Clan. They constructed massive temples in this valley, offering daily worship to the snake gods. It's unknown how many generations this tradition continued. What about the Snake Clan people? How come we've never heard of them? It's said they faced a great calamity and vanished, but nobody knows the specifics. Black Fox explained that this once prominent snake clan suddenly fell from grace, and all trace of their people's whereabouts was lost, disappearing into the river of history. Let's go inside and take a look. Perhaps we'll find out. Since they had found the ancient snake clan's ceremonial hall, stepping inside might reveal the reasons behind the snake clan's disappearance. So the group cautiously entered through the stone door. However, upon entering, they found themselves on a semi-artificial, semi-natural stone path, quite spacious. Just after turning a corner, they noticed two figures ahead moving around. Unsure if they were friend or foe, Liao Fengyi quickly halted everyone and concealed themselves against the stone wall. "Let's go. Let's find out." Gazing ahead, they saw the two they were searching for, Dasha and Ursha. The two were lifting a fat pig and throwing it onto a pile of animal corpses. "It's my big brother and second brother." Seeing their own brothers, Sanche was immediately delighted, about to shout at them. "Wait, the nine-headed serpent is coming back." But Black Fox intercepted, sensing danger approaching. They decided to hide and observe for now. "He's back. Let's go. We'll deal with him." Upon seeing that the nine-headed serpent had indeed returned, even Dasha and Ursha, who were previously focused on their own task, realized it. They straightened their clothes and with gritted teeth headed towards another cave. "You must give it your all. Don't worry, big brother. All right, we're united, brothers." Listening to their conversation, they seemed to be planning to confront the terrifying nine-headed serpent head-on. "Go save my big brother." Why are these two acting so bravely? Are they really strong? Liao Fengyi and Chou Dai, who knew about the demeanor of the three demons, found it rather odd. However, because Black Fox wasn't familiar with them, he unexpectedly felt a hint of respect towards the two men. Without further ado, everyone quietly followed and entered the cave. Indeed, just after rounding a corner, they heard the sounds of a fierce battle, fists hitting flesh, and even the unfamiliar sound of someone groaning in pain. Now this certainly challenged Liao Fengyi and the three demons' understanding. Approaching a bit closer, they saw shadows projected on the cave wall. Dasha and Ursha were indeed fighting someone, but the person being beaten seemed to be quite comfortable. "Big brother, second brother, just like me, you're both heroic men of valor." At this point, Sanche couldn't wait any longer. How could he stand by and watch his brothers fighting monsters while he did nothing? "Big brother, second brother, I'll lend you a hand." With a shout, he rushed inside. "Be careful, don't be reckless." Knowing the terror of the nine-headed serpent, everyone couldn't just let Sanche face danger alone. They followed closely. "Big brother, second brother, third brother is here. We brothers will fight together." Sanche was quite impulsive. As soon as he entered the cave, he shouted loudly, boosting the morale of his big brother and second brother. However, when they got a clear view of the battle inside, everyone was dumbfounded. Heavens, how is the force of this blow? "Let me give you a good hit." Indeed, Big Sha and Second Sha were fighting a person, but it seemed the one getting beaten was far too comfortable. "Third brother, how did you all get in?" While everyone barged in, Big Sha and Second Sha were startled, but the person seated on the chair didn't even twitch an eyelid. It was evident he was well aware of everyone's actions. "Nice craftsmanship, you can do this too. Give me a massage when we're back." Now the situation was awkward. It seemed that the group probably couldn't help Liao Dong three demons because they indeed lacked this particular skill. "You? What audacity!" By this time, the person on the stone chair lazily stood up. Several snake-like shadows coiled around his head. This should be the human form taken by the nine-headed serpent. "To dare intrude upon my palace, it seems you've had your fill of life. Your scent must be quite pleasing." Moments ago, this person had seemed lazy, but now an intense killing intent emanated from him. Under this aura of killing intent, the entire hall seemed to grow cold. Goosebumps appeared on everyone's skin, indicating the horrifying power of this person. Mouth-watering and delectable, as expected of fiends. However, this differs from person to person. Liao Fengyi was the kind to grow more determined when faced with a stronger opponent. "Fiend." Well said. Upon hearing Liao Fengyi's retort, the corners of the person's mouth curled. He leisurely descended from the raised platform. "Let me taste your flavor." As his words fell, a colossal nine-headed monster suddenly emerged from the floor of the hall. This was indeed the nine-headed serpent from the swamp. As soon as it emerged, it fiercely lunged towards Liu Feng and the others. Seeing this creature for the first time, its appearance was indeed quite intimidating. It seemed like this battle was not to be taken lightly. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 63. We were just talking about how the true form of the nine-headed serpent suddenly emerged in this massive underground palace. The nine-headed snake was over 10 meters tall, with its 9 heads stretching out. It was truly horrifying. Moreover, the nine-headed serpent didn't regard the humans before it with any respect. It let out a strange cry and lunged towards the group of people. "Don't be foolish. This area is too wide and open. It's not conducive to fighting." What's so remarkable about it? Xiao Dai and Black Fox remained calm in the face of danger. They knew that this was someone else's territory, and the enemy had the advantage. They couldn't afford to make a rash move. Pulling Liu Fengyi, who was still somewhat defiant, they ran towards the relatively narrow stone cave. But calling it a quick escape wouldn't be so easy. The attacks of this colossal beast were incredibly swift. Before the group could even make it out of the doorway, the nine-headed serpent had already pounced on them from behind. Several consecutive serpentine bites narrowly missed Liu Fengyi's heels, and the force of the attacks left deep craters in the floor of the grand hall. Liu Fengyi wasn't willing to flee in such a pitiful state. He was about to turn back to see if he could launch a counterattack when he slowed down slightly. A massive serpent head lunged toward him. "Do you think I'm scared of you?" There's nothing more to say. Liu Fengyi quickly twisted his body to the side to evade the serpent's bite. Then, he delivered a fierce elbow strike to the back of the serpent's skull. However, Liu Fengyi soon realized that this kind of attack was about as effective against this terrifying behemoth as scratching an itch. Not only was it ineffective, but it also seemed to enrage the creatures even more. Suddenly, all 9 serpent heads shot up, their 9 pairs of blood-red eyes fixating on the group. With a sudden motion, they launched a ferocious attack. This attack was even faster. Liu Fengyi realized that at this rate, nobody would likely escape. Someone had to slow down the beast's advance. "You all go. I refuse to believe it." With this thought in mind, he turned around and stopped, directly facing the nine-headed serpent. "Kid, don't be foolish. I came down from the mountain for training. How can a reputable Mount Mao mage be scared off by monsters?" Furthermore, Liu Fengyi was unwilling to back down. No matter how formidable the creature, it was still a monster. He had descended from the mountain to gain experience, and he couldn't always run away. Seeing that Liu Fengyi had stopped, the colossal beast immediately attacked him. Liu Fengyi's body quickly tilted back, narrowly avoiding the attack. Then he turned and lifted his leg, delivering a kick directly to its head. The force behind this kick was absolutely powerful, sending that serpent head flying several meters away. However, it was impossible for this amount of strength to harm the giant serpent. At the same time, 3 or 4 more giant serpents closed in, mouths gaping, and lunged at him simultaneously. Liu Fengyi focused all his energy, responding with punches and kicks, not giving the giant serpents any advantage for the time being. But the scales on the giant serpents' bodies were sharper than knives. Just grazing against them caused Liu Fengyi great distress. Although he managed to avoid being taken down by the giant serpents after several rounds of fighting, he was clearly on the defensive. And at this moment, 3 serpent heads attacked from 3 different directions. It seemed that Liu Fengyi was about to be overwhelmed. Just then, someone else stepped in. "Don't you know your own capabilities?" It was Xiao Dai who intervened. She couldn't just watch Liu Fengyi suffer. Holding her whip, she joined the battle. These two are really sweet on each other, and both of them are fools. They should have children soon. However, the monster had 9 heads after all. Even with two people fighting back, they were quickly surrounded. Ducking and dodging, the two of them struggled to resist, but they were always at a disadvantage. It looked like they were about to be defeated. Halt! At this moment, a much stronger aura of killing intent surged forth. In the air, a massive silhouette of a black fox formed. With the surge of this powerful killing intent, both the nine-headed serpent and Liao Fengyi came to a stop. The serpent immediately became vigilant and alert, granting Liao Fengyi and Xiaodi a moment to catch their breath. This was quite a situation. On one side was the terrifying nine-headed serpent, and on the other was the mighty black fox. Looking closely, the black fox even had 6 tails, and its aura was no weaker than that of the nine-headed serpent. A 6-tailed spirit fox. As this standoff unfolded, the serpent's form shifted to reveal its humanoid celestial body. What's the matter? Want to make a move? Faced with the black fox's killing intent, it also emitted a strong intent to kill. It seemed this fellow was also a lover of battles. Hey, can't we? How about a little sparring? It's a good way to broaden our horizons. Then bring it on. In an instant, a surge of killing intent filled the field, and it looked like they were about to clash. Wait a moment. But just then, the black fox raised its hand. The nine-headed serpent is your true form. My true form is outside. This is your territory. Isn't it unfair? The black fox's words were reasonable and well-founded. Its true form was outside, and this was the enemy's stronghold. They had the advantage, making the fight quite unfair. If you're capable, let's go outside and have a real battle. Don't make things difficult for him. Going outside to fight, if you lose, it won't look good. Xiao Dai was quick-witted and immediately caught on to the black fox's intention, so she chimed in with her own sly comments. After hearing Xiao Dai and the black fox, the nine-headed serpent remained silent for a while with a dark expression. While they said they had the advantage, they were the ones who intruded. All right, I want to see what you, a 6-tailed fox, can do. After some thought, it's unclear what the nine-headed serpent was thinking, but it seemed either confident in its own abilities or willing to take the risk, and it agreed. Did you release the hostage as well? So that during the big battle, I won't be tied up and hindered. One must admit, the black fox was indeed very clever. Though their intention was to rescue Big Fool and Second Fool, they made it sound like they had hostages in order to distract the enemy. Get lost. The nine-headed serpent wasn't affected by this mudslinging. Since they had decided to fight openly and fairly, they couldn't be bothered by these two small fries. Why didn't he eat you? Why else? Because we're too formidable. The agreement was set. The next evening, they would battle openly in the clearing by the swamp. After leaving the underground palace, the group found a sheltered spot in the valley to sit down. Back then, I used an overwhelming attack. I used the heavenly thunderstrike. But because of your interference, we couldn't exterminate the threat for the people. That's because you injured him internally with that previous beating. It was like slaughtering a chicken with a cleaver. We all saw it. Once he's healed, we'll give him another beating. After a string of boasting, even Third Fool couldn't stand it anymore. Since you're so amazing, why don't you fight me then? Facing someone like this, as soon as the black fox released its killing intent, they immediately faltered. How does this strength feel? Not bad. Promising. Let me give you a good squeeze and relieve some fatigue. The tone shifted. Let's be serious. We need to understand the nine-headed serpent better. You two, give us a detailed account. Eventually, Xiao Dai couldn't stand it anymore. They were going to face the nine-headed serpent tomorrow night, and only Big Fool and Second Fool had interacted with it. Before the battle, they needed to know their enemy. This is not just empty talk. No bluffing. Mainly because our skills are quite high. Very high. After hearing Xiao Dai's words, these two individuals immediately recounted their experiences in the nine-headed serpent's lair. After falling into the mud pit, these two individuals initially thought they were doomed, but unexpectedly, they woke up again. When Big Fool woke up, he found himself in a pitch-black cave, and Second Fool was nearby. Big Fool hurriedly went over to wake up Second Fool. While the two were still unsure of what to do, they suddenly heard a massive scraping sound coming from the depths of the cave, as if something was approaching. Being quick-witted, the two of them found a side passage and hid, sneakily peeking outside. They saw that the one entering was the man-eating nine-headed serpent. The ceiling of the cave was full of holes, and occasionally, animals would fall through. This nine-headed serpent had come to eat these creatures. In the blink of an eye, several deer and wild boars were swallowed whole. The giant beasts ate with great gusto, and suddenly blood and minced meat filled the air. This scene terrified the two individuals. Only then did the two of them understand that this place was the nine-headed serpent's dining area. If they hadn't woken up early, they might have become the giant beast's meal by now. Thinking they had hidden well, the two individuals didn't know that the nine-headed serpent had already spotted them. After finishing off the animals, all 9 heads turned toward the two people with a swishing sound. Once those heads fixated on them, the two individuals almost wet themselves. They dared not stay hidden anymore, regardless of where they were heading. They ran forward in a frenzy. Their wild dash was more like a panic scramble, and they plunged into a massive natural cave. However, as they entered the cave, their blood ran cold. In that cave was an actual gigantic dragon, looking right at them. With a dragon blocking their path ahead and a 9-headed serpent chasing them from behind, the two individuals were truly dumbfounded at this moment, not knowing how to save their lives. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 64. In the previous episode, it was mentioned that Big Fool and Second Fool, after falling into a pit of mud, were chased around in a panic by the 9-headed serpent. Amid the chaos, they unexpectedly ran straight into an evil dragon. "Merciful Lord Dragon, spare us. Our flesh is rotten, not tasty." This utterly terrified the two individuals. They knelt down and knocked their heads on the ground, even injuring themselves. They desperately begged the evil dragon not to eat them. However, despite their knocking and pleading for quite a while, they didn't see any movement from the evil dragon. So the two of them carefully raised their heads to look. Upon looking, the two nearly fainted. It turned out that the evil dragon was just a painted mural, but it was painted so realistically that it seemed ready to come to life. Combined with the dim lighting in the cave and their panic, they had mistaken it for real. Damn it, scared the hell out of me. I almost peed myself. Could there be a Dragon King's treasure inside? Let's go. Check it out. Brushing off the dirt from their bodies, the two noticed a stone door beneath the giant dragon mural. It appeared to be artificially constructed. With their curiosity piqued, they wanted to see if there was any treasure behind that door. Once they entered, they found themselves in an empty grand hall. The walls were constructed with smooth, massive stones and covered in murals. Oh, that mother serpent looks quite attractive. Seeing that there was essentially no treasure, their excitement waned. They casually glanced at the murals on the walls. Based on the scattered descriptions of these two, Xiao Dai and Liao Fengyi were able to deduce the general content of the murals. The murals likely depicted the mystery of the ancient snake clan's demise in the Changbai Mountains. As we've previously mentioned, the ancient snake clan worshipped the snake god and enjoyed a period of prosperity. They built a thriving civilization. However, one day, a great upheaval occurred in the world. According to the mural's record, one day the sky over Changbai became densely covered with dark clouds, and the entire sky darkened as if it were night. From within these dark clouds, a massive tornado emerged. This tornado was incredibly powerful, destroying many trees, farmlands, and houses. As time went on, countless people and livestock were swept into the eye of the storm. By this point, People realized that this catastrophic tornado was actually caused by a malevolent dragon that had risen up. This dragon guarded the eye of the storm, devouring humans and animals. Faced with this mighty evil dragon, humanity appeared minuscule and had no power to resist. Thus, the ancient snake clan all knelt down, beseeching the snake god they had revered for generations to save them. Actually, even if people didn't beseech, the snake god, the protector of the snake clan, would never idly watch the suffering of the populace. According to the mural's record, this evil dragon engaged in a massive battle with two snake gods in the skies above Changbai. The fight caused the heavens and earth to change, and the world turned topsy-turvy. However, in the end, the two snake gods were defeated. Their bodies were devoured by the evil dragon. Yet the evil dragon suffered grave injuries as well and fled toward the direction of the northern desert. Since then, the snake clan of Changbai Mountains lost the protection of the snake gods. They gradually declined, and most people left the mountains to integrate into the society below. A small minority, grateful for the self-sacrifice of the snake gods, stayed behind to guard the snake gods' grand hall and record their miracles. However, with the passage of time, these stories also faded away. What a piece of rubbish art, not even as good as my drawing. How come the beautiful snake lady disappeared from the painting? Big Fool and Second Fool had no understanding of these matters. They glanced at the murals without comprehending much, finding them quite tasteless. But just then, they suddenly heard hissing sounds coming from behind the stone door. They turned around and saw that the nine-headed serpent was chasing after them. Oh my goodness! All 9 enormous heads were poking into the stone door, effectively sealing the exit. The 2 of them were now trapped with no chance of escape. Tell me how you want to be eaten, and I'll grant your wish. As the 2 individuals were about to pretend to faint out of fear, the 9-headed serpent suddenly disappeared. A burst of smoke rose, and within the white mist, a figure materialized. Not talking. Then I'll roast you and eat you. As the smoke cleared, a man with 9 snake heads sprouting from his neck appeared. Seeing Big Fool and Second Fool terrified into silence, the man extended his hand, igniting a dim blue flame, apparently preparing to skewer them like kebabs. Do you think we're just Play-Doh from Liaodong? Already at the point of certain death, Big Fool and Second Fool resolved to stand strong. After all, in their minds, they were genuine men. Especially Big Fool, who thought, 18 years later, I'll become a hero again. A true man fears neither life nor death. 18 years later, I'll be a hero once more. The expressions of the 2 individuals instantly became serious. Die, you monster. Moreover, this 9-headed serpent appeared weaker in human form. If they teamed up, there might actually be a chance for success. Mountain collapsing fury. Heaven thundering strike. So the 2 of them gritted their teeth and charged at the 9-headed serpent, each unleashing their unique techniques. Yet reality still delivered a resounding slap to their faces. Are you massaging me, both of you? Not only did the strength of the 2 individuals fail to harm the 9-headed serpent, but they even managed to give him a comfortable massage. Yeah, celestial being. Master, what do you think about this technique? So the 2 of them immediately shifted their stance, climbing up the pole in a complacent manner. How about trying Thai style? I also know Hong Kong style. Comfortable. Just as Liu Fengyi and Xiaodi were listening intently, suddenly the contented voice of Black Fox sounded. Try the Thai style again. Let me feel it. All right then. The 2 looked over. Black Fox seemed to be enjoying it quite a bit. They couldn't help but wonder how much of their earlier conversation he had actually absorbed. We're going to have a big battle tomorrow. Can't you both be a bit more serious? I also want to try. This got Xiaodi quite flustered. She had arranged a duel with the 9-headed serpent for tomorrow night. But at the moment, they didn't seem serious at all. Relax, no need to worry. In this posture, don't pretend to be serious. Seeing Xiaodi's anxiety, Black Fox finally spoke lazily, brimming with confidence in his tone. Wait, why does it have to be him? The monster has been eating people. Shouldn't it be me, a Taoist of Maoshan, who takes care of this demon and upholds justice? At this moment, Liao Fengyi suddenly realized. The way it was decided, it seemed like Black Fox had to take action. The nine-headed serpent had been eating people. As a Maoshan Taoist, he should have dealt with the evil and upheld the righteous. Eating people. Young master, you can't say it like that. Just as Liao Fengyi was speaking, Big Fool chimed in. He's been eating only the bad people. Yeah, he wouldn't even eat a kid's goat. Though they had only been in contact with the nine-headed serpent for a few days, they realized he was selective in his choice of prey. He didn't eat animals with offspring, nor did he eat regular people. It seemed he only devoured the truly despicable. Can he really tell who's good and who's bad? Wait a minute. Didn't you guys claim to have killed numerous people? How come you haven't been eaten? You guys must have never killed anyone. Liao Fengyi didn't like hearing this. Eating is eating. While killing evildoers might be a virtuous act, when did it become a monster's role to judge who's good and who's bad? As he spoke, another thought struck him. Liao Fengyi's words instantly brought an awkward atmosphere to the scene. Who said that? We've killed more people than you've ever seen. We'll tell you who we've killed in a while. Old Third, quickly come up with some names. Let me think. Ha ha ha. You two are quite adorable. Why are you laughing? Laugh some more when I talk about killing. With books, one grows wiser. Without them, one shortens. In the blink of an eye, it was already the next evening. In this remote mountain swamp, an earth-shattering battle began. If we were to describe this battle, it was truly extraordinary, turning the world upside down, nearly overturning the entire swamp. People who didn't know might have thought a massive natural disaster was occurring. On one side of the battle was the nine-headed serpent, who held the advantage of terrain, fierce and terrifying. On the other side stood the Black Fox Grand Sage, who had cultivated 6 tails, possessing formidable magical power and facing the situation with calmness and composure. This battle seemed like countless bombs detonating in midair, startling nearby creatures to flee far away. Certainly, among those who were left stunned were Xiaodi and Liao Fengyi. To be honest, witnessing such a battle was truly a rare event in a century, especially for Liao Fengyi during his time in the Central Plains. Most animals that achieved celestial status were minor spirits and lesser demons, far from being noteworthy in the presence of Maoshan Taoists. This is bad. Continuing the fight will result in mutual destruction. Don't worry, I'm here. However, who would have thought that the celestial practitioners who cultivated in this remote fairy mountain outside the Shanhaiguan Pass would reach such a terrifying level of strength? I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Liao Fengyi's blood was boiling. And us too. The Liao Dong 3 fiends beside him curiously didn't run away. Instead, they were rubbing their hands in anticipation. In this clash of titans, how will this epic battle ultimately unfold? The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 65. In the previous episode, it was discussing that Black Fox and Nine-Headed Serpent were engaged in a fierce battle on the vast marshes of Changbai Mountain. Watch me. However, both individuals were evenly matched, and after fighting for most of the night, there was no clear winner. Xiao Dai couldn't help but worry that both of them would be seriously injured. Be more careful. On the sidelines, Liao Feng had been itching to join the battle for a while. Upon hearing Xiao Dai's words, he eagerly made his move. With a flick of a branch, he leaped into the air. Young hero, please slow down. Wait for us, brothers. However, this guy was always impulsive. Xiao Dai was quite concerned. Just at that moment, the voice of the Liaodong trio sounded from behind. Young hero, you're rescuing us from a difficult situation. This is the time we repay our debt. The words of the Liudong trio were undoubtedly sincere at this moment. Not in vain did Big Fool and Second Fool expend their efforts to rescue. But, elder brother, that jump is too high. We need a running start to make it. How's it here? Not far enough. Actually, the skills of these three brothers weren't that great, but they had good intentions. At first, Xiao Dai wanted to stop them from charging headlong, thinking of holding them back. What about here? I think it needs to be a bit farther. The path here isn't even. It should be a bit further back. You're right. Later, she realized she was overthinking. Hold on, you two. Setting aside the fleeing Liudong trio, let's talk about the surge of courage from Liu Feng as he entered the battlefield. If we talk about engaging these two great deities using physical strength, it's impossible. However, Liu Feng had indeed inherited the true teachings of Mount Mao. At this moment, he took out several yellow paper talismans from his bosom, formed a hand seal, and chanted a few words, directing them towards the two immortals. Black Fox and Nine-Headed Serpent were locked in fierce combat. Suddenly, a loud shout came from below. Upon turning around, they saw two paper talismans flying towards them. Eastern Duke's purple aura solidifies the East. Western Queen Mother's spirit pearl blesses extreme bliss. Looking down, it was none other than Liu Feng charging up. He was now controlling the remaining talismans, changing hand seals, and reciting incantations, in the process of activating a large formation. Eastern Court's Extreme Bliss Formation. After reciting a few incantations, a golden light suddenly flashed in front of him, revealing a formation disc about half a zhang in size. The formation disc rotated, revealing a 9-character octagram formation, and the energy was gradually expanding. Seeing that the grand formation was complete, Liu Feng roared loudly and charged. The formation disc spun and flew into the midair, quickly, and the energy was terrifyingly increasing. To say that this formation disc was strange, the higher it ascended, the larger it became, and its rotation. We're saying it slowly, but in reality, all of this happened in an instant. After all, Liu Feng didn't have wings. Once the grand formation was activated, the recoil pushed him back to the ground. Looking up again, at this moment, the grand formation disc had already reached the middle of Black Fox and Nine-Headed Serpent, and it began to take effect. In my ears, I could only hear several loud bangs in midair, like thunderous explosions. The first 4 paper talismans that were thrown out suddenly surged, and in conjunction with the formation disc, they exploded, illuminating the midair as bright as day. The ones suffering the most were Black Fox and Nine-Headed Serpent. After fighting for most of the night, they were already exhausted, and during the battle, they had focused all their energy. No one expected Cheng Yojin to suddenly intervene. The unexpected grand formation brought great suffering to the two. Under the tremendous impact, they were busy retracting their true forms to prevent injuries, but their celestial forms fell from midair. You crazy kid. Why set up such a big formation for no reason? They had fought all night, and neither of them had suffered such a setback. Now they weren't willing to accept this. It's fortunate that I intervened and separated you. Otherwise, both of you would have been seriously injured. That wouldn't be good. You're welcome. Liu Feng thought he was doing a good deed, and the two of them thanked him gratefully. However, after just a couple of sentences, he felt that the atmosphere was a bit off. Afraid that we would get hurt. So you decided to hurt us first. Both of their faces were incredibly dark. Stop fighting. What's wrong with you? Bleeding. Xiao Dai was clever, afraid that Liu Feng's clumsy words would only make things worse. She hurried over to defuse the situation. They're not enemies. There's no need to prove superiority. You two are evenly matched opponents, encountering worthy talent. By now, everyone knew that the other party wasn't evil, so there was really no need to fight to the death. I can't be bothered with you lunatics. Don't come to this swamp again. Both of them took in Xiao Dai's words. Besides, after a satisfying battle, they both had a good time. Nine-headed serpent tossed a remark and turned to leave for its lair. Who cares about your lousy puddles? You're the only one who enjoys playing turtle. But at this moment, for some reason, Black Fox suddenly had a feeling of Liao Feng's presence. What did you say? Was what I said wrong? Indeed, as soon as he spoke, Nine-headed serpent's tone turned cold. In terms of true form, your nine-headed serpent is much stronger than my Black Fox, but why haven't you ever beaten me? Because in these hundreds of years, I've traveled the world, challenging countless experts. And what about you? You've been challenging yourself in this water puddle, right? Black Fox's words made it clear that Nine-headed serpent took it to heart. He remained silent with a serious expression for a while. All right, enjoy your stay at home. I have to go challenge the Desert North Demon Dragon. Goodbye. Black Fox was definitely deliberate. With a single sentence, he hit Nine-headed serpent's sore spot. What? The Desert North Demon Dragon. It turned out that Black Fox had deduced from Big Fool and Second Fool's information that the Desert North Demon Dragon was the mortal enemy of Nine-headed Serpent's clan. Over these past few hundred years, Nine-headed Serpent had been relentlessly tormenting itself to refine its body, most likely for revenge. What? You want to go too? Well, if you do, you'll just be walking into death. Seeing Nine-headed Serpent getting excited, Black Fox remained nonchalant, but this was clearly provocation even a fool could understand. Tell me, where is it? However, some individuals are consumed entirely by hatred. Although he hadn't realized it, he still played along. I know a bit about the Desert North Demon Dragon. However, Black Fox was just casually speaking, as he had only heard of it, and knew next to nothing about the Desert North Demon Dragon. He intended to lure a little helper for comfort, but unexpectedly, Xiao Dai picked up where he left off. It's been provoked by someone now. Not only is it incredibly powerful, but the person who provoked it is even more formidable. Seeing that Nine-headed Serpent was captivated and looking at her intently, Xiao Dai then shared what she knew about the Desert North Demon Dragon. This story begins with a terrifying legend that circulates across the Desert North grasslands. The inhabitants of the grasslands are all nomadic peoples, living off grazing horses and sheep. But the legend tells of a demon dragon deep within the grasslands. Whenever it appears, the sky is usually clear, the sun scorching, yet a sense of danger permeates the air. Cattle, sheep, and horses can all sense it and become extremely agitated and anxious. Then, suddenly from the north, a massive black tornado rises and heads directly for the herders and their livestock. Within this colossal black tornado, a pair of blood-red eyes shine like lanterns. Once you see this tornado, it's too late to run. This tornado possesses immense power, as if it can tear through space itself. Everything on the ground will be swept into it, and the blood-red eyes in its core will devour the herders and their cattle and sheep that are swept in. This terrifying creature wreaked havoc on the grasslands for many years, consuming countless herders and livestock. People trembled at the mere mention of it. It wasn't until a little over a decade ago that things began to change. One time when the tornado reappeared, a godlike figure emerged. This person charged straight into the powerful black vortex. It's unclear what weapon he used, but he swung something akin to a massive rope in the sky. After a few rounds, he managed to tightly bind the tornado. The tornado's speed gradually slowed down, and its true form emerged. At this point, people saw that it was a pitch-black demon dragon, but it had been bound by the man. The man's abilities were truly extraordinary. No matter how much the demon dragon struggled, it couldn't break free. In the end, the man subdued it, making it his celestial mount. This man identified himself as Du, a celestial lord of the ancient shamanic tradition. Because of his godlike prowess, the herders on the grasslands began to worship him. After several years, Du established a powerful shamanic sect in the desert North grasslands. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 66. He actually became someone else's Xuanxian disciple. We were just talking about the first time in hundreds of years we heard news about the Mobai Yaolong, the enemy of our clan, and naturally, we were shocked. Indeed, Senior Du's methods are incredibly strong, and his subordinates are not simple either. This Mobai Yaolong is formidable, but there's an even more powerful adversary for seeking revenge, the Shaman Grand Sect. Dealing with that will be even more difficult. Xiaodi mentioned that under Senior Du's leadership, there are many followers and protectors with extraordinary abilities, especially the 6 great protectors. All of them are powerful Xuanxian experts. Each one is a formidable opponent. Noteworthy is also his adopted son, a boy of merely 14 or 15 years old, yet possessing incredibly high talent. He even brought along 2 immensely powerful Xuanxian experts. According to legends, there was once a gang of over 100 fierce bandits in the Mobi region, entrenched in the Lone Horn Ridge. They specialized in slaughtering old customers who were trading cattle and sheep, showing extreme audacity. This child, alone with 2 Xuanxian experts, dared to directly intrude into the bandits' stronghold. It's said that he killed for an entire night, and the screams reverberated throughout the Lone Horn Ridge. By daybreak, he had wiped out all the hundreds of bandits in the Lone Horn Ridge. So, if you want revenge, it's truly not easy. If a youth is this formidable, not to mention the 6 Grand Guardians and Senior Du Xianjun, killing Mobai Yaolong is far from simple. Great. Another opportunity to fight has come. It's a pity, though. You should continue to cultivate here diligently. But the tone was oddly ambiguous. Leave the fighting and killing to me. Do you think I've become scared? Of course, anyone with discerning eyes can tell he's using reverse psychology. I didn't say that, I just said you would be more comfortable staying at home. Cut the nonsense. I'm also going with you. As expected, the 9-headed serpent was tricked again. But then again, it's not exactly being tricked. The 9-headed serpent has been wanting to seek revenge against the Yaolong for a long time, but there simply hasn't been any news until now. Go together. You're not like me. How will you move towards Mobai with your original form? As soon as the goal was achieved, the black fox immediately raised another question. The 9-headed serpent's original form was too massive. If he casually appeared outside, it would cause chaos. You're going to be the Xuanxian that assists that kid. The black fox was right. Once he became Liao Fengyi's assisting Xuanxian, his immortal body could accompany him. His original form could also instantly move to the scene through the immortal body's summons. It's indeed convenient. Are you talking about me? What's more unexpected is Liao Fengyi. Why do I have to be the assisting Xuanxian again? This guy is so strong all the way. However, Xiaodi quickly understood the Black Fox's ultimate goal, which was drawn in a large circle. This kid. What happened? The move he just revealed made the 2 of us suffer. To be honest, the 9-headed serpent was proud and had never considered becoming an assisting Xuanxian for humans, to be commanded by humans. But now, if he wants revenge, he really has to take this step. Assisting this orthodox Taoist from Maoshan doesn't seem to be too embarrassing. Fine, I agree. Besides, I've been living the same kind of life for hundreds of years. Hey, don't you want to hear my opinion? Come here. Are you stupid? Aren't they going too far without asking for our opinions on such a big matter? Just as he was about to object, Xiaodi dragged him aside. I agree too. I also don't know what Xiaodi said to this foolish kid, but Liao Fengyi immediately agreed with excitement. Let's do it when we say so. Let's defeat the Mobai Yaolong together. From now on, we're true brothers. Let's go. Let's have some drinks. All right. Xiaodi's treating. Here's to us. Cheers. Ha ha ha. That's the spirit. It's so satisfying. Let me say a few words to everyone. But after a few big bowls of wine, Liao Fengyi and the black fox reverted to their original forms. Your singing is really off-key. New Year's comes in the first month of the year. The beauty of the 28th strolls among the lanterns. Come on. Come on. Let's sing together. Little sister, how old are you this year? Now, can I still regret this? Don't ask me. I'm not familiar with them. Just as a few people were making a ruckus in the small tavern, 2 men and a woman walked by outside the tavern. Wow, there's a beauty. The men were big and burly, not much to say about them, but the woman was an extremely glamorous young woman. She immediately caught the black fox's attention. Hey, beauty, come over and have a drink with us. The 3 of them continued walking up the hill without paying any attention to the tipsy black fox. But what exactly were these people up to? Let's take advantage of the black fox's call and talk about the background of this group. In the town of Wudogu at the foot of the mountain, there's a wealthy household with 1,000 acres of fertile land and abundant wealth. As the saying goes, wealth attracts trouble. Although this household is situated at the center of the town and relatively safe, money always stirs desires. It ended up catching the attention of a gang of bandits. Brothers. Attack. After scouting for over 10 days on this night, taking advantage of the cover of darkness, the bandits began their operation. For such a wealthy household, there would certainly be guards and servants. To quickly gain control of the situation, dozens of bandits arrived that night, barging through the gate and into the courtyard. However, as soon as they entered, all the bandits froze. There were no cries for help or screams as they had imagined. Instead, an eerie silence pervaded the entire courtyard. After moving further inside, they discovered several dead bodies lying haphazardly in the courtyard. These bodies were covered in blood, and the cause of death was unclear. Could it be that someone else had beaten them to it? Their own gang usually only used intimidation or killed 1 or 2 to establish dominance. They had never dared to kill so many. It seemed their competitors were more ruthless. Well, since they were here, they couldn't leave empty-handed. They needed to salvage something valuable. So the bandits split up and rushed into various rooms. Strangely enough, the gold and silver treasures in the mansion were left untouched. Without any effort, all of it fell into the hands of these bandits. They were overjoyed. As they searched, the bandits became more and more delighted. Unconsciously, they made their way to the backyard of the mansion, which was where the women resided. However, when 2 of the bandits pushed open the door to a chamber, a pungent smell of blood hit them. The heavy stench of blood made even these hardened criminals feel nauseated. The room was filled with dead bodies, sprawled in pools of blood. Yet, amidst the carnage, stood an alluring woman. The woman was gently wiping the corner of her mouth. Hearing the slight sound of the door, she turned her head slightly, her gaze incredibly seductive. The 2 bandits were completely stunned. Their astonishment attracted others to rush over as well. Everyone couldn't help but feel their lips dry up. Even a fool could tell that such a beautiful young woman was probably the master of this old man's affections. What more needed to be said? Didn't they come down the mountain to steal money and women? They had plundered plenty of money tonight. Only women were missing. Don't rush, I'll come with you. As for why everyone in this household was dead except for this young woman, not a single bandit cared. And so, this young woman passed by the small tavern and was taken to the bandit stronghold by the bandits. Only 2 guards were left to watch her. Serve our big boss well. Talking about this young woman, she was immediately brought to the main leader's room in the stronghold that night. The main leader was known by the nickname Red-Haired Tiger. He was not only fierce in appearance, but also a ruthless tiger that wouldn't hesitate to kill. She's indeed a beauty. Normally, we've harmed countless virtuous women, but I've never seen such an enchanting woman. Suddenly, my entire being feels ethereal. You're quite impressive too. There's something even more impressive. He was already extremely impatient. He pushed the young woman onto the bed. "I can't wait any longer." Then he pounced, but unlike the women they had previously abducted who cried and screamed, this young woman had an expectant expression. "I can't wait either." Unbeknownst to the red-haired tiger, while he was preoccupied, encountering this woman meant his days were numbered. "Boss, you're truly formidable. So thrilling." The red-haired tiger's scream echoed throughout the entire stronghold. However, at this moment, the bandits who were celebrating hadn't yet realized what had happened inside. A catastrophic disaster was about to unfold in this den of bandits. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 67. Continuing from the previous episode, we were talking about the leader of the bandits who had captured the alluring young woman. He was planning to indulge himself, but little did he know that disaster was looming. The moment of enjoyment was also the moment of doom. At this moment, the red-haired tiger's naked body was pushed away by the young woman. A gaping hole appeared on his chest, blood oozing out. His heart was nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, the alluring young woman casually wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, sending shivers down one's spine. "Both of you, come in." However, this one person clearly couldn't satisfy her. With a soft voice, she called out to the two eavesdropping bandits outside the door, much to their delight. "Chief, do you need us for something?" Hearing the woman's voice, both of them turned weak, hastily pushing the door open and peeking inside. After all, it was the chief's room. Without his orders, they didn't dare act recklessly. "The great chief is drunk and asleep. He rewarded me to the two of you." But when they pushed the door, the two nearly spurted blood from their noses. The young woman was wearing a tight, small outfit and had a seductive expression as she looked at the two of them. "You're really causing trouble for others. Please, don't be too rough." Even more provocative were her words. The two men felt that the great chief must be really drunk. Otherwise, how could he be so considerate of his subordinates? "Can we also?" Ignoring whether the great chief had said so or not, the two bandits were already surging with lust, unable to hold back. "It's too embarrassing here. Come with me." The young woman beckoned the two men with a curl of her finger, leading them into the inner room. Once inside, she beckoned them again. "Shall we, together?" As the saying goes, temptation can lead to trouble. These two bandits were already consumed by lust, not caring about anything else. "Wow, it's so exciting. Beautiful lady, here we come." The two men's eyes gleamed with excitement as they eagerly entered the room, blinded by desire. They only saw beauty, completely oblivious to the room's permeating scent of blood. Before long, the room echoed with two successive screams. Let's turn our attention outside the bandit camp, where three individuals are approaching. Is this the place? Absolutely. These three people are none other than Liu Fengyi, Xiao Dai, and Black Fox. They followed the scent and arrived here. Are you sure you didn't make a mistake? If we couldn't even figure this out, then I'm useless. How could these three individuals end up here? In fact, it's not surprising. Black Fox had seen this alluring young woman when he was drinking in the morning and even struck up a conversation. This thing is followed by numerous grudges. It's probably been eating many people recently. In truth, Black Fox had long realized that the alluring young woman was a man-eating demon, already on the path of demonic cultivation. Daring to eat people. Watch how I deal with her. Don't be hasty. This gang of thieves has killed countless people. Killing a few more is considered upholding justice. After listening to Black Fox, Liu Fengyi found it a bit hard to endure. This demon seduces with lust. You don't need to intervene. After the two finished arguing, Xiao Dai, who had been standing to the side, spoke up. She was right. This demon used seduction, and it might not be convenient for men to handle. Since we are both women, it's better for me and Sister Hu to handle it. There might be some awkwardness in a fight. Xiao Dai took charge of this matter, forming a series of hand seals and summoning her own celestial protector, Sister Hu. Sister Hu, let's go meet that demon. In truth, Liao Fengyu was worried when Xiao Dai took charge. With Xiao Dai's stubborn temperament, who knew what trouble she might stir up, lost in their own thoughts, neither of them noticed the expression on Black Fox's face. I am Wu Quilin. May I ask for the lady's name? I am Baishan's Black Fox. Your beauty has amazed me. Can we be friends? So, with a change in tone, the scene shifted to this. In dealing with this fiend, be careful, young lady. Don't make me worry. To be honest, Hu Quilin had been cultivating for hundreds of years and was encountering something like this for the first time. She was feeling a bit overwhelmed. After you return, I will arrange a celebration feast. Let's celebrate together and enjoy the night. But Black Fox's words were becoming more and more inappropriate. Xiao Dai, be careful when making friends. Understood. You are so sly. This girl has character. I like her. Come on, let's watch the show. What show? Simple. Haven't you heard of a drama with 3 women? Furthermore, inside the bandit camp at this moment, the saying, even those waiting to die are queuing up, truly applied. Inside the room, more than 10 bandits had already died at the hands of that woman. All right, come in 2 more. At this point, the woman had killed another person and walked to the door. She crooked her finger and called out to the people outside. Did those 2 fellows finish so quickly? The people outside were anxious. Upon hearing her words, their souls were lured away by the delicate gesture of her finger. I'll go first. I'll go first. Then one by one, they rushed into the room in a chaotic manner, pushing and pulling each other. However, keen observers could tell that these people weren't quite normal. In such a rush, where are you going? Just as they were fighting, the room's door was suddenly pushed open, and a charming voice sounded. 2 more have come. That young one is good. I prefer the mature one. The moment that voice sounded, everyone's bones turned weak. They all turned to look, only to find 2 stunning beauties at the entrance. One was mature, alluring, and captivating, while the other was youthful, beautiful, and innocent. The bandit's eyes were fixed, but the face of the beauty standing at the room's entrance grew solemn. Even at the brink of death, still clueless. At this moment, Sister Hu's words pierced the air like a sharp knife, altering the entire atmosphere in the room. In an instant, everyone's minds snapped back to reality. What's going on with us? They've all died inside. Several people exchanged glances, feeling that everything that happened tonight was too strange. At this moment, one person glanced inside the room and suddenly shouted, "Take another look at your beauties." Several bandits looked inside the room, and indeed, the floor was covered in blood and corpses. Why didn't they notice it earlier? At this point, Hu Xiangyu's voice echoed from behind. Hearing Hu Xiangyu's voice, everyone turned to look at the beauty again. Suddenly, they realized that she no longer had any traces of her charming appearance. She now had the face of a fierce wildcat with fur all over her face. A demon. Run. There's a demon. This terrified a few of them. In a panic, they rushed outside. The demon is eating people. After dodging the fleeing bandits, Xiao Dai and Hu Xiangyu also arrived in the courtyard, waiting for the cat demon. Dare to ruin my fun. Seeing her plans spoiled, the cat demon walked out of the room with a grim expression. You're looking for death. The cat demon appeared quite irritable. As soon as she came out, she displayed some of her true form, covered in fine fur, with razor-sharp claws. It's a fox demon and a girl. Her eyesight was quite keen. At a glance, she recognized that before her were a fox demon and a human. You're all looking to die. However, the cat demon clearly believed herself to be more ferocious and formidable. She didn't pay much attention to the 2 people before her. With a sharp scream, she lunged first at Xiao Dai, who appeared to be easier to deal with. Despite Xiao Dai's young age, her martial arts were indeed strong. When the cat demon attacked, she swiftly evaded, then pulled out a whip from her waist. Following that, in a quick motion, she lashed out with the whip, striking the cat demon's back. The cat demon let out a miserable cry, fell to the ground, and then got back up with an even fiercer look in her eyes. A cat's nature is like this, extremely aggressive and vengeful. After being struck, her aggression surged. Her true form became even more evident, including a long tail behind her. Another strange cry, and she pounced at the two of them with much greater speed than before. However, her target remained Xiao Dai, who had wounded her earlier. Being young, Xiao Dai still had some difficulty dealing with the sudden increase in the cat demon's speed. Although she wasn't scratched by the sharp claws, her evasion was somewhat panicked. At this moment, Hu Xianggu stepped in, and thus the battle of these three women unfolded in the midst of the bandit camp. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 68. We were just discussing how the captivating allure of beauty, the heart-devouring mountain cat spirit, clashed with Xiao Dai and Hu Quilin. At this moment, the ferociousness of the mountain cat spirit was unleashed. Not only did she gradually reveal her true form, but her attacks also became increasingly fierce. Hu Quilin refrained from intervening to train Xiao Dai. She had been watching on the sidelines all along, afraid that Xiao Dai might make a mistake. The fight scene among the three women was unfolding energetically. The two people sitting on the rooftop couldn't have been happier. Alas, Xiao Dai's turn wasn't quick enough. It was none other than Black Fox and Liao Fengyi. The two of them had fetched some fried peanuts and other snacks from the bandits' kitchen. They were enjoying the show and munching away. Look! Look! The mountain cat spirit's bellyband is floating up. However, even though they were watching together, their points of focus were clearly different. Great job, Xiao Dai. Keep it up. Turn around. Turn around. Can't see it anymore. Negative review. Speaking of the battlefield, facing increasingly fierce attacks, Xiao Dai was clearly struggling. Still young, lacking experience in battle, at this point, the mountain cat spirit's speed was increasing rapidly, revealing the agility of a wild beast. Suddenly, her claws swelled, slashing towards Xiao Dai. Xiao Dai hurriedly retreated to dodge, but the mountain cat spirit's claws caught her whip. The immense force propelled Xiao Dai 7 or 8 meters away before she barely managed to steady herself. The mountain cat spirit was extraordinarily agile, leaving no room for Xiao Dai to catch her breath. She lunged toward Xiao Dai once again, and Hu Quilin, worried about Xiao Dai's safety, quickly intervened. The mountain cat spirit's senses were exceptionally acute. Although her back was turned to Hu Quilin, she still felt the approaching danger. Instinctively, she dodged, only to see a dark shadow shooting towards her like an arrow. Because her reaction was slightly delayed, the shadow grazed across her cheek. Immediately, a gash appeared, blood trickling down as the wound opened. This further stirred the wild nature of the mountain cat spirit. Furiously, she turned her head back towards Hu Quilin and let out a piercing roar. However, what she saw was Hu Quilin herself also revealing her celestial form, a four-tailed spirit fox. Even though the mountain cat spirit's ferocity was at its peak, she knew that a fox with 4 tails possessed cultivation far beyond her own. Hesitating, she held back from approaching. "Aunt, I'll handle this myself." Just then, a sharp pain struck her back. It was Xiao Dai launching a fierce attack from behind. Xiao Dai had a competitive spirit. She stopped Hu Quilin from intervening, giving the mountain cat spirit an outlet for its frustration. With a savage howl, it lunged at Xiao Dai. "Imph, you think I'm afraid of you?" At this moment, Xiao Dai had regained her composure. The whip in her hand cracked like thunder. The whip moved like a nimble serpent, The mountain cat spirit couldn't get close, and it let out pained cries several times. Seizing the advantage, Xiao Dai pursued with increased bravery, gradually turning the tide of the battle. However, the mountain cat spirit wasn't to be underestimated. After all, having consumed so many hearts, her demonic nature had grown even stronger. Just as her body was knocked down to the ground, she sprang up once again, fiercely pouncing at Xiao Dai. In a matter of moments, several rounds had passed. The mountain cat spirit had suffered a few wounds, and Xiao Dai was being pushed increasingly onto the defensive. After a few rounds, Xiao Dai was growing frustrated. Not to mention the two enthusiastic spectators on the rooftop, she couldn't afford to lose face in front of her aunt. Seeing the mountain cat spirit's true form growing larger, fully embracing her beastly shape, and her attacks growing fiercer, Xiao Dai no longer dared to engage in a direct confrontation. When the mountain cat spirit launched another attack, Xiao Dai swiftly executed her ultimate move. With her whip, she created a series of circles aimed at the mountain cat spirit. Seeing the mountain cat spirit caught within the circles, Xiao Dai felt a surge of satisfaction. Suddenly, she swiftly stepped back, pulling the whip taut. The mountain cat spirit was in quite a predicament now. In an instant, she was bound like a rice dumpling by the whip, howling furiously in midair. Seeing that she had the mountain cat spirit under control, Xiao Dai jerked her wrist, pulling the spirit towards her. Then, gripping the whip's handle tightly, she launched an attack at the mountain cat spirit's face. The punch landed solidly, and a pitiful cry escaped the mountain cat spirit's lips as her body was propelled backward. She was thrown about 5 to 6 meters away and crashed heavily onto the ground. Xiao Dai, well done. The seamless flow of these attacks fired up the two men on the rooftop. Their blood was boiling, and they cheered loudly. Die, demon. Miss Xiao Dai, show mercy. In her fervor, Xiao Dai jumped forward and stood before the mountain cat spirit. She raised her fist, intending to end the creature's life. However, someone stepped in to stop her. Don't kill her, don't kill her. We can discuss matters. Xiao Dai turned around to see Black Fox leaping down from the rooftop. What a great figure. No, what a great sacrifice it would be if she were killed. The others didn't quite understand the term sacrifice as used by Black Fox, and Hu Kuilin felt that Black Fox had impure intentions. Oh my, look at them not understanding how to cherish a beautiful woman. With a playful grin, Black Fox's antics made the mountain cat spirit think he was lusting after her beauty. She hurriedly put on a seductive appearance. Come, Big Brother will take you inside for a detailed discussion. No wonder she misunderstood. Black Fox's words, no matter how you heard them, sounded improper. However, after she entered the room, she realized she had overestimated. Bastard. I'd rather die than be humiliated. As it turned out, Black Fox had led her into the room only to bind her to a chair and prepare the hall for questioning. This wasn't a rescue plan. It was clearly an interrogation. Don't speak like that, as if someone wants to insult you. And the one conducting the trial is that scoundrel over there. Speak. What's your relationship with the tiger demon of Thousand Foot Cliff? You can't manipulate so many people's hearts on your own. Where do you think you can send them to, pretending otherwise? Black Fox was undoubtedly a meticulous investigator. He had already analyzed the situation thoroughly, even pinpointing the origin of the mountain cat spirit. You? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know any tiger demon. The series of questions clearly caught the mountain cat spirit off guard. Everyone could tell she was trying to avoid something. Not speaking the truth. Do you want me to use severe methods to extract information? Black Fox was quite a character. It seemed he could employ both soft and hard approaches, as if the gentle teasing earlier wasn't really his style. If you won't talk, I can guess anyway. But since you're uncooperative, I don't need to give you the chance. By the way, how about this? In a seemingly casual manner, He conveyed a lot to the mountain cat spirit, making her understand her predicament. "I'll send you to the wild boar ridge, to that wild boar spirit. He already ate his own wife, so he'll definitely appreciate the gift I'm sending him." When Black Fox mentioned that wild boar spirit, not just the mountain cat spirit, but even Hu Quillen and Show, Die behind her shuddered. "With your beauty, he'll probably have a good time for 10 days or half a month." Sure enough, as soon as Black Fox spoke, the mountain cat spirit's face turned pale, and cold sweat trickled down her cheeks. "No, I'll talk. This move was indeed very effective. The mountain cat spirit didn't dare to be stubborn anymore, and finally agreed to speak the truth. "You're right. I come from 1,000-Foot Cliff. My sister and I are both women of that tiger demon." As she began speaking, it seemed to align closely with Black Fox's deductions. It was him. He forced me to come down the mountain to gather people's hearts for him. She mentioned a cave in the 1,000-Foot Cliff of Changbai Mountain. Inside that cave lived a monster that had cultivated for nearly 1,000 years. He's a powerful tiger that became a demon, and he made my sister and me his concubines because of his advanced cultivation. Just a few days ago, the tiger demon ventured deep into the 1,000-Foot Cliff and stumbled upon a cave. The cave was surrounded by immortal energy, and he could sense that it was a fairy's abode. The tiger demon had ruled over the 1,000-Foot Cliff for centuries, so he had heard of the 8-tailed spirit fox and the legend of the divine intervention. This piqued his interest. Could this be their abode? Might there be treasures of cultivation within? The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 69. Continuing from the previous episode, on the 1,000-Foot Cliff of Changbai Mountain, a tiger demon was surrounded by a celestial aura and became curious about a cave. Speaking of this tiger demon, it had been cultivating on the 1,000-Foot Cliff for hundreds of years, yet it had never seen this cave before. This gorge was constantly shrouded in mist, and no one knew how deep it was or what lay beneath. At this moment, it seemed like a fortunate coincidence as the cave appeared before the tiger demon's eyes. Seeing the celestial aura inside the cave, its heart stirred. With such a rich celestial aura, could there be treasures formed from heavenly essences and earthly treasures inside? Or perhaps some other great opportunity? Even if there were none, finding a place with abundant celestial energy for cultivation would be excellent. It must be said that this tiger demon was truly formidable. The valley was over 100 feet wide, yet it leaped down effortlessly. With this leap, it landed precisely on a stone platform next to the cave. As it approached the cave, it felt the aura of the celestial energy becoming more abundant. The tiger demon's heart rejoiced, but when it peered inside, it couldn't see anything clearly. So it transformed into a human shape and jumped to the entrance of the cave. It cautiously walked towards the interior of the cave, but froze shortly after entering. This cave wasn't very deep, and you could vaguely see the bottom. To its astonishment, there was a figure meditating inside. Could there be an ancient immortal within? Seeing that the person remained motionless, the tiger demon gathered its courage and took a few more steps forward. Now, it could see the situation inside clearly. There wasn't only a person but also a fox and a sword. The sword was deeply embedded in the stone, and at a glance, the tiger demon shuddered. It was an ancient divine weapon. Moreover, the person sitting cross-legged showed no signs of life, clearly having passed away for many years. The fox also appeared as a withered corpse. Upon seeing everything, the tiger demon felt like its heart was about to jump out of its chest. Need it even be said, this was undoubtedly the cave of the legendary 500 years ago, where the great god and the 8-tailed spirit fox of Changbai Mountain resided. This was truly incredible luck. According to legend, the great god possessed immortal scriptures and elixirs, and that ancient sword was a divine weapon from ancient times, not to mention the inner core of the 8-tailed spirit fox. The tiger demon's heart raced uncontrollably. Unable to contain its joy, the tiger demon rushed toward the cave like a maniac, only to be stopped by an invisible barrier. Not only that, but when his hand touched that invisible wall, it felt like he had been struck by lightning, receiving a powerful shock. The force was just too strong, and it forcefully sent the mighty tiger demon flying more than 10 meters away, crashing heavily to the ground. The tiger demon immediately understood that the great god had set up a powerful barrier in the cave to prevent outsiders from entering. But these tantalizing treasures were right in front of its eyes. How could it easily give up? The tiger demon realized that it couldn't break through the barrier because its own abilities were insufficient, and achieving a significant improvement in a short time through legitimate means was impossible. If not the righteous path, there were a few viable options. We know that this goes against the natural order and will incur divine retribution, but we have no other choice, Mountain Cat Spirit said. From that day on, the tiger demon ordered her sisters to descend from the mountain to collect human hearts and bring them back to aid in his cultivation. Ha ha ha, eating human hearts and still thinking about becoming an immortal through cultivation, is he crazy? Black Fox said, and he was right. That tiger demon was delusional. Once you enter the path of darkness, it's impossible to return to the righteous path. How about it? Did you get the news about the great god's cave? Great. I was worried we wouldn't find it. You're finally reliable. At this point, no one could help but admire Black Fox. He may not seem serious, but he always surprises people, especially when it comes to important matters. You knowing won't help. You can't defeat the tiger demon. But just when a few people were rejoicing, the mountain cat spirit poured cold water on their enthusiasm. His true form isn't an ordinary tiger. It's a rare beast that only appears once every 1,000 years. It turns out that the tiger demon is the monster known in ancient texts as one of the 3 tigers converging into one beast. That's why it has gained such profound power. Moreover, during this time, it has consumed many human hearts and become even more terrifying. Since it's a monstrous beast, its strength is already formidable, and now, after embracing the dark path and consuming human hearts, it has become even more fearsome. I don't care if it's a rare beast or not. Those treasures in the cave are ours. Liao Fengyi admired this aspect of Black Fox, the ability to curse without using foul language, speaking frankly. Besides, if we can't defeat it, we still have you. Don't we have a plan? Black Fox changed his approach and turned his attention to the mountain cat spirit. What are you going to do? Suddenly, he struck, delivering a powerful blow to the back of the mountain cat spirit's neck. The mountain cat spirit groaned and then fainted. Black Fox, what are you doing? Duh. I said we're going to use our wits. Liao Fengyi, who wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, didn't quite grasp the plan. Well, kid, you're really lucky. What do you mean? But Black Fox didn't explain further. He punched Liao Fengyi in the chest and then said something even more confusing. Hey, explain what preparations we need to enter the mountain. All right, you're quite the slow one. Why am I lucky? What do you mean? Can't you all explain it clearly? You'll find out soon enough. But these are stories for another time. Let's not digress and continue with the events of the second day on the 1,000-foot cliff of Changbai Mountain. At this moment, the mountain cat spirit was returning to the tiger demon's cave with a large bundle dripping with blood. I'm back. There was no need to ask. The bundle contained human hearts. The tiger demon didn't need to guess. These were the hearts the mountain cat spirit had taken from the group of bandits. However, for some reason, as soon as the mountain cat spirit entered the cave, she dropped the bundle and staggered, nearly falling to the ground. It seemed like she had suffered a serious injury. Sister, what happened to you? I encountered a formidable exorcist. The other woman in the cave was her sister, and their bond was strong. She rushed over to support her sister. Useless. But the tiger demon didn't care about the mountain cat spirit's condition at all. He was only concerned about those human hearts and came over to grab the bundle. "If I don't get those hearts back, I'll devour both of you." After delivering this threat, the tiger demon opened the bundle and started munching on the hearts. In less than half a moment, he had swallowed more than a dozen human hearts. Perhaps stimulated by the taste of human blood, the tiger demon became ferocious. He let out a series of roars that shook the entire cave. After a burst of furious howling, he suddenly turned and rushed towards the cave entrance. The two sisters knew that he intended to use this surge of rage to make another attempt at breaking into the celestial cave. "Sister, what are you doing?" At this moment, the mountain cat spirit's sister suddenly noticed that her sister no longer appeared weak as she had moments ago. "Let's go. We'll follow him." "What?" Her sister's eyes remained fixed on the direction where the tiger demon had disappeared, and she calmly uttered words that left her deeply puzzled. "Sister, are you out of your mind? Following that tiger demon is suicide. Sis, he might kill us. Don't worry, he doesn't have the capability." However, today, her sister seemed different, running very swiftly, and she couldn't catch up no matter how hard she tried. Several times, she almost got left behind. Fortunately, at this moment, the tiger demon's mind was entirely focused on the celestial cave. He hadn't noticed the two trailing behind. After running for a while, he leaped off a cliff. So this is the place. The two sisters confirmed the location and decided not to follow further. They leaped onto a towering ancient tree on the edge of the cliff. The sisters watched as the tiger demon jumped to the cave entrance and roared madly as he charged into the cave. "Sis, what are you planning to do? He might really kill us. He could kill us at any moment. Unless we kill him first." "Sis, you?" Today, her sister's behavior was extremely strange. Normally, she would complain while her sister urged patience. Suddenly, a tragic scream echoed from the cave, interrupting the conversation between the two sisters. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 70. The mountain cat sisters tracked the tiger demon to the cave in the ravine, unexpectedly. This cry startled the sisters, but they understood that the tiger demon was likely bounced back by the cave's powerful array. Sure enough, before long, the tiger demon staggered out of the cave, blood stains on its lips, clearly injured. The tiger demon had consumed many human hearts to increase its power, yet it still couldn't break the array. Frustrated, it roared, shaking the entire ravine. Despite its frustration, the tiger demon had no choice but to retreat, vanishing into the woods. He failed again, and now he's forcing us to kill people for hearts. We'll kill him. You're not my sister. Who are you? Her sister finally realized that the person in front of her was not her real sister and was surprised when the imposter easily admitted it. In a moment of confusion, her sister's body emitted the shadow of a woman. "Indeed, I'm not your sister. Otherwise, I wouldn't allow you to kill people." Her sister had been possessed. "Who are you?" "Release my sister." Her sister prepared to attack, but her possessed sister stopped her. "She's right. If we don't defeat the tiger demon, we'll be forever tormented by him. In the end, we won't have a good outcome. Thinking clearly is the best." Seeing the mountain cat sisters come to a realization, Houdini said, gesturing to the opposite side of the ravine. On this 1,000-foot cliff with dense forests, Houdini's whistle, high-pitched and clear, echoed through the woods, catching the attention of many animals. Let's take a deer, for example. It was grazing on some cattails with its head down, and the whistle startled it. It raised its head and looked around but found nothing unusual. However, it sensed something different in the nearby forest. Just as they turned around, 3 shadows gradually emerged from behind the trees. 2 of them swiftly pounced on the deer, but the small deer reacted quickly and disappeared in a flash. "That deer is really fast. Otherwise, we could have had meat tonight. Can't you two be more serious?" These were the comments of Liao Fengyi and Black Fox, who had no intention of catching the deer, but had been waiting in the forest for a while, and decided to have some fun. Auntie has already tracked down the location of the deity's cave. "Let's go quickly. She's so capable. We must reward her with a kiss." At this point, the other three greatly admired Black Fox. His plan was flawless, using the cat demon to pretend to be injured to avoid exposing any flaws, then tracking the tiger demon step by step. Every step of his plan was well thought out. The group arrived at the cliff above the cave and looked down. The deep ravine was shrouded in mist, and its depth was unknown. Just as they were speaking, a large rat suddenly leaped up from below. It was none other than Ahuo, who had been missing for a long time. Since Liao Fengyi took action, he had been studying the spells Hu Quilin taught him under her guidance. "There's a big tiger down there." This time, he had been sent down to investigate the cave, but he had come running back in a panic. "Look!" As soon as Ahuo's voice fell, everyone heard a tiger's roar. They looked down and indeed saw a beautiful tiger leaping out of the cave, with one bound landing on the rock in front of everyone. Everyone now understood that the tiger demon was afraid of other creatures coveting the treasure. After discovering the cave behind, it had arranged for a clan member to guard the cave. "Leave it to me." This northeast tiger was huge and ferocious in appearance, but since it wasn't the tiger demon, only an ordinary tiger, it couldn't pose a problem for these seasoned. "Come on, little kitty, let's play." Liao Fengyi had grown up in the mountains and had encountered many jackals, wolves, tigers, and leopards. At this moment, he was a bit excited and called out to the tiger. Tigers were known as the kings of the forest and didn't fear humans. When they heard someone making noise, they fiercely roared and pounced on Liao Fengyi. Furthermore, Liao Fengyi, who had encountered many tigers during his visits to Mashan in the past, was used to dealing with smaller South China tigers. However, facing a northeast tiger for the first time, a faint smile appeared on Liao Fengyi's face. Seeing the tiger pounce towards him, Liao Fengyi leaped away in a split second. The tiger reacted swiftly, swiping its claws in midair. Liao Fengyi twisted his body again to evade. However, he didn't anticipate the tiger's tail, which followed like a steel whip, sending shivers down Liao Fengyi's spine. "Be careful." After one round, Liao Fengyi had gained a newfound appreciation for the northeast tiger's prowess. Seeing Liao Fengyi slightly disheveled, Xiaodi became worried and shouted, "Don't worry, I'm fine." Liao Fengyi regained his composure, not wanting to lose face in front of a woman, and stood his ground before the tiger. The tiger, realizing its initial attack had missed, understood that the human before it was agile. It accelerated and lunged again. It leaped almost 2 meters high and swiped its claws towards Liao Fengyi. Liao Fengyi, spotting the direction of the claws, didn't attempt to dodge. "Take this." Liao Fengyi swiftly crouched and darted beneath the tiger's body. As the tiger's body soared overhead, Liao Fengyi's fist struck its belly. There's a saying that tigers have bronze heads, iron bones, and water-filled bellies. This belly was the tiger's weak point. Liao Fengyi's punch was powerful, and the tiger was sent flying. Nevertheless, this tiger was formidable. In midair, it twisted its body, and its 4 claws landed steadily on the ground. "Come on, come on." Liao Fengyi, having landed a hit, grew more enthusiastic and began taunting the tiger once more. The tiger, struck by a punch, became more agitated, its wild instincts taking over. It roared fiercely and lunged again. That's it. The tiger's wide-open jaws were larger than Liao Fengyi's head, and it longed to tear him apart in one bite. But when it lunged forward, it found that Liao Fengyi had disappeared. Of course, Liao Fengyi didn't vanish into thin air. He had swiftly maneuvered under the tiger, gripping its head with one hand and supporting its chest with the other. Utilizing the tiger's momentum, Liao Fengyi exerted force, and hurled the mighty tiger towards the ground. The tiger's pounce was already powerful, and combined with Liao Fengyi's skillful counterattack, a tremendous thud echoed as the entire ground trembled. The tiger, now in a terrible state, vomited a large quantity of blood, clearly indicating its internal organs had been shattered. This young man certainly has some skills. What we just described was a simplification. You should know that executing this move requires both Liao Fengyi's reaction speed and strength to be exceptionally well coordinated. From start to finish, in less than 2 or 3 minutes, the fierce striped tiger was thrown to its death. The relief washed over the group as they were preparing to proceed into the cave. However, at this very moment, Liao Fengyi's sixth sense alerted him to danger. As expected, even before Liao Fengyi could turn around, a colossal figure had stealthily lunged at him from behind. Although we say stealthily, it didn't imply a lack of attacking prowess. Like a predator, it was quiet, but its attack was ferocious. "Kid, come back. It's the tiger demon. You can't handle this. Hand him over to me." Liao Fengyi managed to fend off this sudden attack, but he was still pushed back about 7 to 8 meters. Black Fox, on the side, was the first to speak up, urgently shouting for Liao Fengyi to return. "No need. I can handle it myself." Liao Fengyi's stubbornness had surged within him. He had come down from the mountain to gain experience, and as a proud Taoist from Maoshan, he wasn't going to fear a tiger demon. Seeing Liao Fengyi's determination, Black Fox didn't insist any further. Instead, he stood by to assist. However, he knew well that the tiger demon was extremely formidable, and he couldn't help but sweat nervously for Liao Fengyi. What audacity! Daring to intrude upon my 1,000-foot cliff and pilfer my immortal cave. From the tiger demon's perspective, this cliff was his territory, and the immortal cave had been discovered by him. Everything here belonged to him, and he wouldn't tolerate anyone snooping around. Hemph. In the cave, there's one human and one fox. What business do you have here? By what right do you claim it all as yours? Everything here is mine. Since words couldn't resolve the dispute, there was no need for further discussion. Strength would determine everything, and the two engaged in a fierce battle. Could Liao Fengyi prevail against the tiger demon on the latter's territory? The tiger demon was undoubtedly the most formidable among the tiger clan.